So this is a reaction video number 5, and this one's about organizational culture in the workplace, which obviously is pretty important for a company or a business or any form of organization to be following, because a culture is how an unknown individual to your company, someone who may not know your company is, that's how an individual may recognize your company. That's how they distinguish it from others. Like, for example, Google is distinguished as a place where you can be creative, and deadlines are when you decide, and you decide when you do your own work. The flexibility there compared to other companies, and same with Apple, I'm pretty sure, is like none other. So there's a saying in the article, or not the article, the video, that says culture leads to how the organization forms, which leads to how the people behave, which leads to behaviors, which then leads to culture. Well, the way I should have phrased that is organization leads to people, which leads to culture, which leads to behavior. So basically, culture is a byproduct of behavior. I just phrased that pretty poorly, but yeah, behavior is basically formed from culture. If people aren't cooperating in the organization, then obviously the culture isn't really there and probably needs to be addressed by like management. And culture can also take many forms. It can be as little as just going out to dinner like twice a week with your coworkers after work, or it could be something as big as a big meeting in every 2 weeks at organization. And it phrases a saying that says the big leaders always have like tons of where do I want to go with this? It basically talks about how the biggest leaders always have like lots of ways for how they're gonna approach something. It talks about how all of them have the right mindset. They're always looking to adapt. They're always looking to improve their situations. They're always looking for new ways to tackle solutions. And it also talks about how the right attitude can really, really make a big difference, and how you should treat others how you want to be treated. You should follow the golden rule, which is it doesn't really have an explicit definition, but that's just basically, that's treating others how you would want to be treated. Doing what's morally right for others, that's also really important. The example it used in the video, which I really liked, was an example of a man. His name was Mr. Smith, and how he was going to, I believe it was in New York City. I could be wrong on that. He was going to a city, but his plans get suddenly changed because he has to call, because he gets a call from his wife, and his wife tells him that their grandson, who he apparently had a good relationship with, got into a really bad accident. And it doesn't say what the accident was, and doesn't say how old he was, doesn't give any specifics. It just says that their son or their grandson probably will be he'll probably pass away in a few days or possibly even later that day. So, because he's on life support. So basically, what Dr. Smith or Mr. Smith has to do is he has to get to the airplane as soon as possible, and he has to improvise a lot of different ways that he can get there. And he's in Phoenix, which, as it turns out, Phoenix has a lot of airport has a lot of traffic, is what I'll call it. And so he runs into a complicated situation where he doesn't think he's gonna make his flight, but the flight attendant ends up making a call when he's just a few minutes late, and this is where the golden rule comes into effect. They end up letting him board the plane even though he was a little late, even though it wasn't really his fault due to traffic in the airport and outside of the airport, which basically serves the golden rule, as Southwest Airlines usually tries to do, which is just think about the customer's needs, and think about how they can be met, and if something goes wrong, what can they do that can make up for the situation. So overall organizational culture, I think a company needs it's almost mandatory for a good organizational culture, at least if they want to keep employees. If they don't want to keep employees, then I guess the culture doesn't matter too much. But if you want good, loyal employees who are actually gonna do their work and stay loyal, then it's almost mandatory. I'd say it's very necessary. For me, when I graduate college, I don't know where in particular I want to work. I'm still trying to figure it out. But what I can say is I want somewhere that's supportive, somewhere that pay is just, as I've said in many reflection videos in the past, pay is just a bonus. Like, as long as I'm enjoying what I do and it makes a decent pay, it doesn't have to make the most, ideally not the least, but it doesn't have to make the most. As long as it's making some form of money, then that's good enough. And I would also want flexibility would also be nice, and a really welcoming work environment, because the culture, as I said at the beginning of the video, that's how a workplace is identified by others. It's how you present yourself. So yeah, ideally I'd want a flexible place that makes a decent amount of money and has welcoming and employees that I can be good friends with, and yeah, the most important thing is, as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing, then it's good. So yeah.